A new nuclear threat has been issued to the United States today from North Korea. This coming out August 24th, 2024. This Saturday, North Korea letting us know that they are not happy with the new strategic plans that have been put out by the United States. Kim Jong-un, wait till you hear the latest that has been coming out. Now, here's the headlines. North Korea condemns the new U.S. nuclear strategic plan, not happy about what has unfolded. Now, in addition to that, North Korea warns of serious consequences after Kamala Harris condemned Kim Jong-un as a tyrant at the DNC. They said he heard this and he was not happy. Now, North Korea is not the first to respond to the strategic plan of the United States. I shared with you 3 days ago that China had responded to the U.S.'s secret nuclear war strategy change. And China said they took this very seriously as well, not happy about it. And this was Tuesday. We had heard that Biden had approved this new strategy focusing on the nuclear threat of China, Russia, and North Korea combined. So we're seeing the responses, and there are threats of World War III, nuclear war, nuclear attacks coming out. I'm going to share with you the latest on this. Now, in addition to that, this is coming out today, but if you missed it yesterday, I shared with you today, that yesterday we received word that while all of this is going on, now airports around the world are going to be doing Mpox screenings. These have been introduced and are even happening in the United States as airports worldwide are concerned amid the rising spread of this global health security issue of the Mpox virus. They're saying this new strain, this is not like what we saw in 2022. This can be transmitted through any form of touch. It is multiple times more deadly, and they are saying that this is a virus of high concern right now for all the nations. It has left Africa, gone to other continents, and here in the United States, there are new screenings taking place at airports. So if you missed that, I'll go ahead and pin it in the comments right after this live stream. But let me get you caught up on the latest about these new potential threats coming out, nuclear war, nuclear attacks, threats coming out of strategic changes by various nations to the United States. So let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest. I see we've got 1,367 people live with me in the room. I see people saying, hey, Steve, how's it going? BA Technologies. I see you. Saul to Paul saying lovely. I see that we've got Mary. We've got Saul to Paul, Lisa, Edward, Virginia. It's good to see you guys. I see Iki78 saying smash that like button. Yes, if you could take a second to hit that like button, helps out the channel a ton. I would appreciate it. Helps spread this live stream out further so more people can get the latest updates on this news coming out today, August 24th, 2024. So please do me a favor, take a second to do that. And to stay up to date, it is totally free. Why not go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, make sure you stay subscribed to the channel. A lot of people letting me know that they got unsubscribed from the channel. We're not really sure what is going on. I think it's YouTube settings, but make sure you stay subscribed so that way you know what is taking place. And also, I saw somebody in the comments say this guy is always giving us cap, which I think the young kids cap means lies. And here on the channel, I always say, people ask, Steve, how can we trust you? I always say this, don't trust me, don't trust anybody. Do your own research. And here's what I do for my community, so that way you can just see what it is that I'm looking at. I cite all the sources, link them in the description down below. So all these articles that I'm going to be referencing, they are cited just like a book report down in the description. You can click the link and you can see it for yourself. Like I said, do your own research. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. I'm just a guy on YouTube sharing with you what it is that I'm finding. And there's been times I've accidentally misunderstood or misread things. So please double check. Absolutely. But I try to hold myself at the highest standard, accountable to my audience, so that way you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. I cite all of my resources, all my sources, and I provide resources linked down below as well if you'd like to stock up in preparation for potential nuclear attacks or anything like that that could unfold. There's actually EMP-proof fabrics linked down below. I've got Amazon links that you can click. Takes you right to it. You can purchase some if you'd like to protect your electronic devices. But anyways, let me go ahead and get you caught up on the latest. These articles coming out today with these new warnings coming out from North Korea against the United States. And the United States vocalizing this week that they're concerned not just with China, but also with Russia and North Korea, the combination of all of these nations essentially teaming up to take down the United States here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, this article says that North Korea has vowed Saturday, today, to advance its nuclear capabilities. Now, this is a reaction to a report that the United States had revised its own nuclear strategic plan. The country will bolster up its strategic strength in every single way to control and eliminate all sorts of security challenges that may result from the United States' revised plan, the official Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, reported. The New York Times reported this week that a U.S. plan approved by President Joe Biden back in March was to prepare for a possible coordinated nuclear confrontation with Russia, China, and North Korea. So again, this was back in March. We heard the United States strategic plan, nuclear strategic plan, has changed because we are concerned about the advancement of these three enemies, Russia, China, and North Korea. Now, this came out in the news this past week on Tuesday. What we're hearing is the other nations are now hearing about it, and they are not happy. I had a lot of people say, Steve, this was back in March. Yes, he did this back in March, but it's coming out in the news today. And now we're seeing the reactions coming out this week from these other nations. And I already shared with you, China said they took it very seriously. They were not happy about these nuclear strategic changes. And now North Korea coming out with their warnings as well. And like I said, stick around. You're going to be hearing what Kim Jong-un had to say about being called a tyrant at the DNC. Now, the highly classified plan for the first time reorients Washington's deterrent strategy to focus on China's rapid expansion in its nuclear arsenal, the Times said. KCNA said North Korea's foreign ministry expresses serious concern over and bitterly denounces and rejects the current behavior displayed by the United States. It added North Korea has vowed to push forward the building of nuclear forces sufficient and reliable enough to firmly defend its sovereignty against any nation. Pyongyang and Moscow, they have been allies since North Korea's founding after World War II and have drawn even closer with Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. The United States and Seoul, they have accused North Korea of providing ammunitions and missiles to Russia for its war in Ukraine. Pyongyang, which has declared itself an irreversible nuclear weapons power, has described allegations of supplying weapons to Russia as absurd. However, it did thank Russia for using its United Nations veto in March to effectively end monitoring of sanction violations, just as UN experts were starting to probe alleged arms transfers. China, also a key ally of North Korea, presents itself as a neutral party in Russia's offensive on Ukraine and says it's not sending lethal assistance to either side, unlike the United States and other Western nations. But it is a close political and economic ally of Russia. And NATO members, they have branded Beijing as decisive enabler of this war. And I've actually shared that with you here on the channel before. We've heard a lot of people say, hey, there is a way to end this war. And we actually heard former President Donald Trump during the debates with Joe Biden say, I will end this war before I even become president. As president-elect, I will end the war with Russia and Ukraine, and I can end it in a day. And a lot of people thinking that he is alluding to the fact that this war is not being funded by the nations that are in war, that these two right now, Ukraine and Russia, these two that are fighting, they don't have the financial capabilities to keep this war going much longer. The only way they are able to survive is the fact that the United States is sending funds over to Ukraine. And we actually heard Russian President Vladimir Putin vocalize this in his interview with Tucker Carlson, saying, the United States, why are you involved over here? Why don't you take into consideration your own borders, your own economic issues, and your own people? Stop sending money to Ukraine. And if you do that, Russian President Vladimir Putin said Ukraine would not have the ability to last even 2 weeks, and then we would have negotiations to end the war. Well, the same thing is also true for Russia. We're hearing that China has been providing economic, financial support to Russia to sustain. Russia is not a major economic power, and they're saying that if China stops supplying funds to Russia, well, this war would have to end because Russia would not be able to sustain either. So a lot of people thinking that Donald Trump is alluding to the fact that he would have an economic conversation with China and both sides could stop funding Ukraine and Russia and put an end to the war. So this is being vocalized right here. We're seeing in this article, it says that Beijing has been branded a decisive enabler of the war with Russia and Ukraine. Moscow has looked to Beijing as an economic lifeline since the Ukrainian conflict began, with the two boosting trade to record highs as Russia faces heavy sanctions from the West. So that coming out from North Korea saying they are very, very upset and they're going to continue to push their nuclear powers regardless of what the United States says or does. Family Man 24, thank you for the $2 super chat. How would you feel if Kamala won the presidency? Well, man, Family Man 24, that is a great question. Everybody let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to let you know right now what it is that Kim Jong-un would feel if she wins the presidency. I think a lot of people, I know that the majority of the people here on the channel would like to see Donald Trump as the president over Kamala Harris, feeling like that he would be better for the foreign relations, also for the economy, for the border security, and a lot of the issues that we are currently dealing with at this time. Let me know your thoughts if you agree. If you think that Trump would be better, put 45. If you think no, it would be Harris that would be better, put 47. I think the vast majority of the people in the room, if I know the audience well here on the channel, are going to be putting 45s. We've got some 47s that will likely come in. We've got a good mix of people, but I think roughly about a third or a fourth of the audience support Harris. The rest are for Donald Trump here on the Ram Fam channel, Steve Ram channel. And do me a favor, I see we've got 1,828 people live with me in the room. Hit that like button. If I could just get 50 more likes, that would be 900, half of the room. That would be awesome. Just spreads this out further. But let me share with you this article that just came out in the last 24 hours. North Korea warns of serious consequences if Kamala Harris becomes the president, condemns the tyrant Kim Jong-un at the DMZ. Now, listen to this. North Korea has just warned the United States of serious consequences after Washington provided South Korea with military hardware, including Apache helicopters. Pyongyang's warning comes in the wake of Vice President Kamala Harris branding Kim Jong-un a tyrant at the Democratic National Convention, or the DNC. So apparently, Kim Jong-un was watching the DNC and heard what Kamala had to say about him and was not happy. In a public statement released on Friday, Pyongyang condemned a series of joint military exercises between the South Korean Army and the U.S. Army, which coincided with the sale of 36 Apache attack helicopters. The condemnation, which describes South Korea as a vassal force and the U.S. as a recklessly provocative, coincided with Kamala Harris's speech at the DNC, where she called North Korean leader Kim Jong-un a tyrant and a dictator. Now, in a statement published by the Department of Press and Information of the DPRK Foreign Ministry, the chief of the foreign news said, "We strongly oppose and we reject the United States and its vassal forces. Arms buildup posing a grave danger to the region's security, environmental, and escalating the military tensions, and we warn them seriously of the consequences to be entailed by their actions." Now, amid the ever-escalating political and military tensions in the Korean Peninsula due to the U.S. ROK large-scale joint military drills, the U.S. announced the sale of offensive weapons to the ROK. This is a reckless, provocative act of deliberately increasing the security instability in our region, they said. So this is North Korea saying they are not happy with the change in the nuclear strategies by the United States, not happy with us supplying Apache helicopters and weaponry to South Korea, not happy with the statements of Kamala Harris today and yesterday, the last 24 hours, North Korea coming out saying that they are essentially threatening, warning the United States about the actions that are currently taking place. Now, the DPRK will steadily conduct the necessary military activities for self-defense to control the military imbalance and instability that may be caused by the military moves and delivery of the lethal equipment of the hostile forces getting more reckless with the passage of time. Now, Newsweek contacted the United States Indo-Pacific Command for comments on North Korea's statements. Now, the statement came just a few hours after Vice President Kamala Harris had taken the stage at the DNC, where she said, "I will never hesitate to whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. And I will not cozy up to any tyrants or dictators like Kim Jong-un, who is currently rooting for Trump." So that's what Kamala Harris had to say. And apparently Kim Jong-un heard that statement that she made at the DNC and felt personally offended by that statement and said he was not happy. Now, the joint U.S.-South Korean exercises, named the Ulchi Freedom Shield, will involve over 40 types of field exercises, as well as drills intended to simulate missile attacks, GPS jamming, and cyber attacks. So they are doing these drills to prepare for this. This is a joint U.S.-South Korean exercise, so they already know that there could be GPS jamming, cyber attacks coming, simulation of missile attacks in South Korea. A lot of the same threats that we are now receiving here in the United States as a result of China, North Korea, Iran, and Russia. So right now in South Korea, they're preparing for this. They're doing drills. Should we be doing something along those lines here in the United States? Let me know your thoughts. If you think yes, put a 1. If you think that we should be preparing, doing drills, potentially thinking about what we should do next for cyber attacks. If you think no, that's not necessary here in the U.S., put a 2. But as you guys know here on the channel, I personally, just opinion, don't think it's a bad idea to start preparing. And that is why I've provided down in the description those links, like I said, EMP fabrics, additional batteries, flashlights, radios, all sorts of things that you might need in case we got hit with cyber attacks, had GPS jams, paper maps are linked down below. And just in case, you might need some extra supplies. Now, according to a spokesperson for South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff, quoted by Reuters, the alliance's bilateral exercises will also further strengthen its capabilities and postures to deter and to defend against weapons of mass destruction. So, man, this is South Korea saying we are preparing for weapons of mass destruction to come our way from North Korea. And I see all those ones. A lot of people saying, what is the United States doing? We should be doing more to prepare for weapons of mass destruction against the U.S. Julia Lynn Bowman, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Question is to every mother and father that's out there, if your child is serving this country, do you want our child to go to war over bad comments? Man, great thought there, Julie. And also, if any of you do have children that are serving, or you yourself are serving in our armed forces, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for all that you do to protect our country. God bless you. And we are praying for our troops and for all those that are involved in keeping us safe and keeping our freedom here in the United States. And let us hope that, cooler heads will prevail and that we don't have to go to war. But it sure seems like things are definitely escalating right now. And like I said, the purpose of this channel is to keep people informed. I will let you know every step of the way. Julia, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. Now, the article says that according to the spokesperson for South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff, quoted by Reuters, the alliance of bilateral exercises will also further strengthen its capabilities and postures to deter and defend against weapons of mass destruction that could come from North Korea. Joint exercises such as this have happened regularly in the past. This year, the war game will simulate how soldiers and civilians might react to a nuclear attack by North Korea. Wow. Man, the entire nation is preparing, doing drills for potential nuclear attacks from North Korea. They are simulating that. Absolutely incredible. And I saw all those ones, people saying, what would we do here in the United States? Let me know your thoughts. Madison, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hi, Steve. I've been stocking up on canned goods. Excellent. Yes, canned goods, bottled water, things that can help you and your family sustain. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think worst case scenario, nothing happens, which is not a bad worst case scenario, and you got a ton of extra food, and you just go ahead and just start dipping into your supplies and eating it. before it goes bad. Now, furthermore, the exercise that they are doing in South Korea to prepare for nuclear attacks, these exercises coincide with an arms sale of 36 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters from the United States to South Korea, further bolstering the American allies' military capabilities. The U.S. Air Force has also made use of a spy plane, an RC-135W Rivet Joint, to monitor the North Korean reactions to the exercises as well. So they are simulating these potential attacks, preparing for how they would respond, their defenses, what they would do if they were attacked. They also have purchased items from the United States spy planes to observe North Korea and see what their reaction is while they're watching South Korea run these drills as to how they would defend themselves in a nuclear attack. So very interesting that coming out as we are hearing North Korea not happy with the United States' nuclear change of plans, the United States providing these helicopters and additional items to South Korea. North Korea, Kim Jong-un personally offended by the words of Kamala Harris at the DNC. And we've actually heard that former President Donald Trump had said that he actually got along very well. And he said a lot of people think that we should be like fighting with these other, dictator leaders. And he said, no, that's not actually the way this works. He said, you want to de-escalate the situation and be able to have conversations with them. And he said that that's what he was able to do with Putin and Kim Jong-un, was he was able to have discussions with them and able to keep things at peace with the United States. So let me know your thoughts on this. The foreign relations right now already with Kamala Harris not looking too good. Kim Jong-un very, very offended by what she had to say at the DNC. And we're actually hearing Kim Jong-un saying he hopes that Trump gets back in. We actually heard that he liked Donald Trump. So we will see. Now, again, this is North Korea responding to the United States changing their nuclear strategy. 3 days ago, I reported to you that China had responded to the top secret changes that were revealed on Tuesday. And they said that they were very, very concerned. They took it very seriously that the United States felt it necessary to secretly change their nuclear war strategies. Now, this says that China on Wednesday had accused the United States of creating the largest nuclear threat in the world after President Joe Biden reportedly approved redirection of the U.S.'s deterrent strategy to focus on China. China had said that the United States was hypocritical in this, that the United States is becoming the number one global threat for nuclear war with their strategic changes, and said that they are holding everybody else to a standard, but not themselves. And China coming out and not happy about that. And now, like I shared with you in the past 24 hours, we've heard the exact same thing coming out from North Korea. China is seriously concerned about the relevant report that has come out, said Mao Ning, spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry during a regular press conference. So they said that they were very upset, very concerned with what has come out regarding the United States. And North Korea coming out about that too. And that is, as I shared with you, Wednesday, Tuesday, August of this month. It was the 21st, I believe. Biden had approved nuclear strategies. It was released on a report on a Tuesday, but it happened back in March. But now it's coming out, and that is why now we're seeing all these nations respond, because the word is out that the United States has changed its strategic nuclear plans, taking into consideration the unification of Russia, China, and North Korea against the U.S. to attack us. So we are ramping up our nuclear strategies. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat, Insai. Who thinks there will not be an election? Wow, great thought on that. Let me know your thoughts. If we go to war, if there are attacks, will there be elections? Man, we will see. I just know that it definitely feels like things are ramping up here, and we've got a couple months till November, and who knows what could unfold between now and then. We have seen so many things that have unfolded. It is absolutely incredible. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned, if you missed my video earlier today, you're going to want to check it out, as we've heard that there are now screenings taking place that have been introduced at airports worldwide, several of them in the United States, Spain, Istanbul, Singapore, all over the world, there is now screenings globally for the rising concerns of the mpox and global world health security. They're saying this is a public health emergency. So I will link that in the comments. I'll pin it for you so that way you can check that out as well if you missed it. But you guys, whatever unfolds, I will keep you up to date here on the channel so you know exactly what is going on. We've got threats of potential World War III and nuclear war. We've got elections coming up. We've got various viruses that are spreading around that are causing public health emergencies across the globe. Whatever happens, I will keep you guys up to date, and I will cite all the sources, link them down below, provide as much information and resources as I can, so that way you and your family know exactly what is going on. And again, do me a favor. I see we've got 2,064 people live with me in the room, 1,368 likes. If I could get another 40 likes, I think that would be 1,400. That would be awesome. And like I said, thank you guys for joining me. Those of you that are coming on a little bit late, these warnings coming out from North Korea against the United States, letting us know, hey, we're not happy with what's going on, not happy with your nuclear strategy, with you providing North Korea with these weapons, and not happy with what Kamala Harris had to say at the DNC about Kim Jong-un, calling him a tyrant and a dictator. So things are heating up. But whatever unfolds, you guys, I will keep you up to speed here on the channel. So that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't be scared. Be prepared. I will keep you guys up to speed on everything. Hope that you and the family are blessed, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, you guys. God bless. This is Steve.